Howdy. I want to show y'all something. Every year we have our barn swallows come back. The nests stay there because they're made out of mud. They're pretty sharp boys, but every year we have our barn swallows come back. This year, this one nest here is giving us 5 babies. Now we get to sit here and watch the mamas and daddies feed them, and it's an amazing thing to watch. I've learned a lot on God and the way he does things, the way he wants us to do it, by watching these wonderful things that he's created, such as the trees and the birds and stuff. But I see the mamas upset at me, but here they are. Yeah. As I said, the mama's kind of upset because I get close to the nest. She gets a little upset at me, but I'm gonna walk away. She's trying to feed them. If you can see them, let me see if I can show you. They're out on that power line. They're just sitting there waiting. But those are our babies. We have that nest that has 5, and another nest that got 2, and another nest that got 3. So when all this is said and done with, we're going to have about 20, 30 barn swallows out on a power line out here, and we watch them bring them out of the nest, and we watch them as they take care of their babies and nurture them, and then they bring them out of the nest and they get them exercised up before the long trip south. Uh, so this is what I wanted to say. You know, like I said, God says if we just look at nature, we see Him. You can't help but know there's a creator behind all this. But these little babies here, the first year we got them, I learned a lot. It's so cool. The mom will come in and the daddy will come in, and they'll build a little bit on this and they'll get it prepared. They'll lay the eggs and they take turns setting on them. Both of them work together. And then the little babies hatch out, and both mom and daddies, they're busy all day long feeding them. Right now, they got 5 in that nest, so mom and daddy's really busy trying to feed 5 mouths. Now, I've always been curious how they keep in order of whom they feed and when they feed them, so nobody gets more than the other. But there's an interesting thing about them. The first time I saw it, it blew my mind. The mama flew up there, or the daddy, and they flew up there. And the little birds was at the edge, and all of them had their mouths open, and the mama would feed them. Well, then one of them turned around one time and showed his butt, his back quarters, and he pooed. Little big bubble, white bubble. And the mama or daddy bird, they picked it up with their beak, and they flew it out across the yard, dropped it. They keep their nests clean. That just amazed me to watch that. I mean, a bird. Watching this bird keep its nest clean and take care of its young, and the way they do it. And then when we look at all us, which we're supposed to be the superior being on the planet as far as God, and He's given us more gifts than He's given any critter. Keeping our house clean. Uh, I talked to her sister one time, and she said that she just felt like there was demonic forces always in her house. And she couldn't, she prayed over it, and she watched War Room. So then she got out there and she did her "You ain't taking my joy" and all that stuff in the War Room thing. And she said, but she still felt that wickedness in her house, and she couldn't understand why. Well, one day I got to go over and see that sister. And as I was walking through the house, I'm one of them people that like to observe things, watch things. That's just, I love it. It's part of me. Like I said, I used to, don't no more, but I used to sit at the mall and just watch people all day long. Watch how they acted and interacted. Uh, but when I went to her house, I noticed something. it didn't mean nothing to her. Really, it didn't. They were like heirlooms or something from, family passing down or such. But in this house, she had that little old, it was a little old piece of jade. You know that little fat dude that's bald headed? And she several of them throughout the house. Well, they were hand me downs, belonged to her parent, daddy, or somebody, I don't know. And they were keepsakes. But she had all these little heirlooms in the house. And then as well, I noticed some books she had there. And I asked her, I said, you read them? She said, oh yeah, I enjoy them so much. And they was them books a few years ago. It was about the vampires and the werewolves. And they were both in love with this one girl or something like that. I don't remember the title of it. I'm sure somebody out there does. But these books were laying around. And the more I looked, the more I saw of things that really, in scriptures, the apostles, they spoke so hard one day on the sermon, so many was convicted that they brought all their books, piled them up, public display. Man, this had to be an amazing sign. Piled them up, public display, and burned them. Now, I've had people that's estimated and they good at figuring and all that. They've done studies on this that nowadays them books have been in the tens of millions of dollars that they just and burn them up. Why? Why can something as simple as a book laying in your house leave the door open for the demonic and evil spirits to come in, hang around, and just torture you? According to scriptures, them people got them books out of their house. They were just books. The books can't hurt nobody. Why you want to be so legalistic? I don't know. All I can do is look at what scripture says. And today I was reminded of keeping our house clean, watching these birds up here. So let me ask you, brother and sister, what's laying around your house? Really? I mean, think about it. Something so simple as a ferret. She didn't think nothing about whether it was her husband's that was belonged to his father. But after me and him sat down and we talked, you know what he did? He got rid of them things. He got rid of them. Throw them in the trash. That little girl that read them books about the werewolves and the vampire loving this one girl was sitting at discipleship one day. I asked her, I said, tell me about this story. And man, she lit up. She went on and on. 30, 45 minutes. We all sat there. The whole assembly sat there at the table. Didn't say a word while she spoke. Well, when she got wound down, I said, man, that's an amazing story. I said, can I ask you something? And she said, what? And I slid my Bible across the table. I said, tell me about this story. And you could see her face. God calls it your countenance. Probably saying that wrong. Talking to Cain, your countenance has changed. Her face went from all that excitement about that story. She was telling me to, y'all hush, I'm on, to just, it changed. And you could see in like an anger or a hate, just, her face was, ew. And it shamed her. Yeah. A lot of people say I shouldn't have shamed her like that in front of all those brothers and sisters sitting there. The scripture says different, so I'll just stick with what God says on that. But you know, it was a couple of weeks later, that little old precious daughter of mine, and I call her daughter of mine because she came to know God sitting at my house as I helped introduce her to this man called Christ. And then through him, she got introduced to the Father. So yeah, I call her my daughter, like Paul called Timothy his son. My little precious daughter come to me, you know something? She throwed away them books. And she thanked me for doing what I did. It took a while for it to settle in on her. But you know, brothers and sisters, when we know something, and I'm talking about know it, understand it, and we see another brother or sister that's in error of the truth, and we don't lovingly and compassionately speak to them. Now, at the time we do that, that don't mean they're going to accept it well. They might be upset at you for a while. But if God is working and they're listening, it'll all come around. I'm going to say in all honesty today, I think there's a lack of that amongst us as the saints because we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Brothers and sisters, I'm not here to hurt your feelings. And you're not here to hurt my feelings. I'm here to help you get your soul acceptable to the kingdom. And you're here to help me keep mine the same way. So if we see a spot on a garment of one of our brothers and sisters, look, if I was going to get all dressed up to go for a job interview and I put on my suit and my tie and shine my shoes all night long and press my shirt and pants, and I got all duded up to go for a job interview and I put my clothes on and put my jacket on and I looking at myself in the mirror and I thought, wow, dude, I look presentable. And then my wife walks in from behind me and on the back of my jacket, see, 'cause I can't see there right now, but on the back of my jacket, there's just big, nasty glob of, I don't know, something. And she says, well, you know, he looks, I'm just not going to say nothing. And I go to this job interview and we presented each other and I shake the man's hand and it goes good and I get up, turn around to leave and he sees my jacket and he says, well, why would I want to hire a man that wears dirty clothes? And so see, if we see a spot on somebody, we're supposed to tell them. Why? Because we love them. Because we love them. You see a spot on me, tell me. Come, look, I don't like seeing spots on me either. So if you come and tell me, I'm going to appreciate it. I am. And it should be vice versa with each other. So this all started out about them birds keeping their house clean. And everybody likes that phrase in the Bible, don't they? Oh yeah, you can buy plaques and they hang it up in your house and posters and have it on shirts and hats. And as for me and my house, we serve the Lord. Yeah, but is your house acceptable? Or there, you know, Paul says that there's some people sitting among you that are spotting your feast. Paul said, put away them wicked ones. So our assembly, in my house here, This is where I assemble. I don't have a Saturday or a Sunday. I assemble here every day. I wake up. I'm gonna be in some teachings and speakings, and I'm gonna be watching some teachings and speakings, and or I'm gonna be counseling somebody with some speaking and teachings. But just I assemble here every day. I really, I used to be one of them Sunday folk. I remember them days. Yeah, Sunday was a good day. Them other six, I was miserable. Complained about everything, my job, my wife, bills. But see, now I assemble with the Father every day. Every day I walk in the garden with Him. So, I did a teaching on examining your plate, and that was a pretty good speaking. But today, I guess it's more of that's for me and my house. We're going to serve the Lord. So, if we say that, but my house is serving flesh more than the Lord, I'm serving somebody, all right. There's an old Bob Dylan song. I like that song. It says you're going to serve somebody. It may be the devil or it may be the Lord, but you're going to have to serve somebody. And God says, today, choose life. Might be a good day for examination, being that it's Sunday. And this is the folks, for a lot of people, this is the time they get together to worship God. Do you worship Him the other 6 days? I'm seriously now. Okay, if you go to a building assembly in the morning, and you're really diligent about it, so you go to Sunday school, and then you're there for the assembly, and then you come back for the afternoon portion of it. Oh yeah, and Wednesday. Let's don't forget Wednesday. So we got, what is it, like 2 hours? They ring the bell, I think, at 10. So 2, 3, 4, 4 hours maybe in a day. For some, a little bit more. But let's just stick with 4 hours a day. 4 hours in one day. So the other 6 days, got 4 hours in one day. What do you do with the other six? Do you think that 4 hours in one day covers all your bases for the other six? Because I'm going to be honest with you. You might be one of them folks that are dedicated attender down there at that building assembly. And I guess that's okay. I can't be around them because they're letting fornicators among the assembly, because we love everybody and everybody's welcome in our assembly, and that's not what God says. God says put that wicked ones out. We keep the assembly. Paul says keep it as an unleavened feast of unleavened bread. But keep it pure. Keep it pure. And if an unlearned or unbeliever walks in, what they hear should convict them. And if you're up there preaching about how God loves you so much and all that, it ain't gonna go and convict them people. But let's get back to track. So if you spend around 4 hours on one day, what do you do the other six? Because if you spend 4 hours in one day and you don't do nothing the other six, oh, you wake up and pray. There's 10 minutes at the most for some people. So that's 60 minutes. There's an hour. I'll give you that for 6 days. So, as for me and my house, I serve the Lord. Well, let me ask you this. If God looks down, where you spend your time is where your heart is. Scripture. If my heart is more in the world than 7 days of the week, who am I serving? Who are you serving? Really, I mean, I'm just questioning. I ain't got nothing. Look, I asked somebody a question today and they accused me of questioning their salvation. I'm just asking a simple question. Like Bob Dylan said, you're going to have to serve somebody. It may be the devil, or it may be the Lord. But you guarantee one thing, there's going to come a day when you're going to find out who you actually serve. And in that day, it's going to be too late to make any changes and corrections. So today, instead of waiting on that day to come, sit down. Make it a family adventure. You, your wife, if you're blessed with children, all of you. And ask, are we really serving the Lord? Or are we serving ourselves? I don't know. Just a thought. Hey, as always, I love you. I'm always praying for you. And if you ever want to reach out to me, if you ever got a problem, all you gotta do is go to that messenger video chat, let me know. I'm a good listener. I know I do a lot of talking here, but I'm a pretty good listener too. And this old gray hair here, I got a little bit of wisdom to share with you. Because rest assured, brothers and sisters, there ain't nothing, and I can say this with a clear conscience, there ain't nothing that you are thinking about doing, you've done, you're involved in right now, that this old boy here ain't stepped a foot in that mud hole. Yeah. I guarantee you, the life that I've lived has made me and given me the ability with the understanding that God has given me now in my heart to give you some pretty good wise counsel on some things. Now, 11 years ago, I'd have told you don't listen to a word I got to say. But now, seek wise counsel. And I know today that's hard to do. But I will give you this. If you just reach out one time, then you decide. Because today, a lot of people are seeking worldly counsel. Silver and gold, none have I. But what I do have, I shall give it freely to all. So I love you. I'm always praying for you. And I will see you next time around.